It is Mia's Fortune Hunt, and naturally, I'm one to tell you that I always love this event, and I feel like people kind of don't really know exactly what to grab here. You have the choice of 105 one hours, 130 fire crystals, and for me, every time, fire crystals. I am one to tell you, I will pick up the fire crystals. Now the problem is, which one? I'm gonna say that one. Wrong. This one. Wrong again. And then you're left going crud, and then you got to spend money. It's like, oh. And so then, of course, that's Mia's Fortune Hunt for you, without really a whole lot of information. But hey, what do you know? You get occasionally some extra cards here, and the problem is obviously you got to wait, because if you try to rush through it, right, you're actually going to be wasting a lot more than you'd think. So it's actually less beneficial, right? But the only thing really you got to really do is just know that, if you do all of your, so like if you gather each building, and I'm going to do 2 iron because I'm running low on iron and coal, so I'm trying to kind of micromanage here a little, but, try to get 1 of each type, and then, of course, always make sure you get your burden bearer if you don't already have this. Now, this is not applicable to everybody, and some of you guys don't even have pets yet. You will eventually get pets. If you're wondering how do we get them, it's all time based. It'll all become relevant later. But for the most part, right? You go through and you do your missions and all that jazz, and then occasionally you get, some stiff, and then you turn around and you can use said stiff to go then play in the Mia's Fortune Hunt again. And of course, it's state transfer right now, so everybody in the state is like, oh yes, come to my place. 467 is currently not too bad, right? But there's a ginormous number of states that you can go between. And, of course, with that in mind, right, there's also Line Showdown and Full Blast. We've got armament competition. You might be thinking, like, well, how are you handling the trucks? Like, I always pick up purples, and then I roll on greens and blues, and if I hit an SSR, awesome, but for the most part, I don't really get too occupied with the actual finessing of like who I'm hitting on the raids. The main thing is just to raid in general and get your 4 raids in. That's about all there is to it, really. You just make sure you get your raids in and you get your points. That way you're helping the Alliance out. Oh, like one of the 1 times that I actually lose. What are the odds? Alright, well, we'll just go ahead and hit this guy then. Lucky him. But, anyway, so, of course, I got all my chests. I'm going to grab those too. But, I don't know. It seems like in the last couple of updates, I know people are still kind of wondering, like, I got a lot of guys that come into the game that are brand new. And if you're one of those people and you're watching, you're just kind of like, hey, where is all this content? I don't see it. The game's very time-oriented and time-based. So, like, you unlock stuff over time. It's not all going to be handed to you day one. And one of the finessing issues that I find in this game, more than anything else, is the fact that you can finesse to such a degree that, I don't know, that's like my favorite word today, but you can only do so much until eventually there is what I call a limit. Like, you eventually either have to spend in order to beat most players, or you don't spend, and then you just get railed anytime you decide that you're going to go against other players. And the most you can really do as a mild free-to-play is to kind of, or even a free-to-play really, is just hide behind the guys that spend a lot of money. That's about all you can do. Now, like here, okay, I can go into the Crystal Laboratory, I can go refine me one of these little crystal thingies, and then I can go over here, and then, I can hit upgrade. Well, before you do that, right, you always want to make sure you're checking to see where you are on, and I know, I apologize for the frickin' fans, it's cold. It's been a day, man. It's been really cold. But the main thing here is if, let's say, for example, you're wanting to make the most of what's going on in the calendar. And again, Flaming Fang's coming around, King of Icefield's coming around, Championship and Lucky Wheel, the whole 9 yards. They're all coming around next corner, right? But the main thing here is that you always want to make sure you kind of time your upgrades with the events that are going on. So like right now, I know that there aren't any events that I'm going to benefit from using speed ups, so I don't waste. I just save. Like, that's really all there is to it. There's nothing too crazy about it. Of course, I'm going to go through and we're just going to hit skip, and I'm going to get freebies because reasons. Now, I don't know. Here is probably about where things are going to probably go south, I would say, but we'll see. We'll see how far we get. We might get lucky. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll see. And again, to what I can tell, there is no, like, if you can't get past that, that's just your limit, and then you just know where you need to improve. That's really about where Labyrinth is for me now. It's like, when I first started it, I didn't really know what to expect, but I definitely have changed my mind on, like, a lot of things. Like, I was with the opinion that it's like, oh, I can just get away with having 3 sets of gear on 3 sets of heroes, and I'll be fine. And it's like, now I'm going, great. Now I have no excuse not to, because you get all these freebies from the Labyrinth that you'd be hurting yourself if you weren't trying to grab as many freebies as possible. So now it's less about, being optimum for PvP so much as now it's actually more optimal to be well-rounded, because you're going to get more loot in the long run. And for that reason, it's like, okay, so now I've got a goal to achieve, I have something to strive for, and obviously getting as much glowstone as I can so that I can then turn around and get mithril. Because again, to me, this event and its creation was a way for you to get mithril without having to spend like enormous amounts of time in the arena and then only getting so much of it back. It's like, it's really nice that, yes, mithril can be earned in other events like a Lion Championship and what have you, but it's, as you can tell, like, I'm hitting a limit here. Like, oh wow, we get lucky on that one hit. Wow, what are the odds? Okay, and so then, there we go. We hit the limit, 13.7, and now we got Dark Forge. And again, this is Chief Gear, so chances of me getting through this one's probably pretty high. I'm going to probably go through a lot of these without a lot of trouble, because I have legendary gear, so my gear is going to be pretty good. What I don't have in gear, though, is charms, and that may be where I start to fall apart, is the further along I get. But this, I would expect I'm going to get a lot further along on. At least I would expect, anyway. But again, I don't know, with the way Whiteout has introduced this, I think it was a really nice update. I don't know what you guys personally think, but so far my experience with this has been really positive. Like, this has been a really nice thing to have, because you're not having to spend to get any of this stuff. And so it's another alternative way to go about getting a comparative way of building up your account without actually putting any money in the game, which I think is nice. And at least it'll reward you for spending the time that you do playing the game every day. So again, going through these chapters, I mean, like I said, I'm not really bothering with trying to finesse the actual troop counts. I've tried this, and this just doesn't work. Like, you would expect that to make a difference. It really doesn't. Like, if you're statistically going to lose, you're just going to statistically lose. There's not a whole lot you can change in that outcome. And so for that reason, I kind of stuck with the idea of, let's just try to do as much as we can. And of course, I don't know. I mean, right now we're getting pretty far. And that's kind of what I expected, was we should be able to get through quite a few of these chapters, because just on my stats alone, this ought to be sufficient, I would think. I don't know if it'll be enough to get to the very end, but it'll get us very close to where we're almost there anyway, I would say. And that's just because of how much time it was spent actually in that gear. But again, I don't know. Can never say anything with any amount of certainty, it seems like, these days. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, and again, this is kind of, after a while, like, it is in mine. Oh, so like there, we finally hit a limit. Are we going to be able to get past it, though? Yeah, we got lucky that time. So it looks like we're going to start hitting a limit, I would think, because now that we started, well, I don't know, maybe not. Oh, yep, that one time we lost. No, we got that one though. See, that's the interesting thing is it's kind of iffy in the way that, it's like you might win, you might lose. All right, so there we go. Got all the way through that. And then we even got some of the Sanctum bits. And then, of course, with the extra, I don't like to waste the others on speeds or anything. I just wait on Mithril. And I'll wait until it refreshes. That's my personal opinion. Like, that's what you probably should be doing if you aren't already doing it that way. But, I mean, other than that, boy. Now we can go back in and let's, and I always forget to do this, but you always want to make sure you're doing a 1 day on your 5% deposits, and then once again saving as many of these fortunes as you can so that you can rerun the fortunes, and it gets a little less expensive over time, but again it only lasts for a day or two. But this is a really good event for Fire Crystal, but beyond that I really don't strive to gamble in it very much at all. So like there we go, we got another 3. Now we can actually take a shot at it here, so let's go ahead and give that a try. I'm going to pick the one that I think it's going to be, which is this one. And I'm wrong. But that's okay, because I at least feel like I got accomplished something. But needless to say, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.